made it to Vancouver, Canada, and this is the view from our flat at the moment. You can just about see the snow-capped mountains in the distance. It is about 9 p.m. at the moment and the sun is still out, so we are going to make the most of it and hit the town. Hi friends, welcome to day 2 of our Canada and America road trip. Last night we went to our local square and had some Chinese food and then did a bit of grocery shopping, so there wasn't really much to vlog. So hopefully today we'll be doing a bit more exploring. So we have just crossed the channel via sea bus and are standing in North Vancouver. You can see the sea bus leaving now. And we are looking at downtown Vancouver, which is where we are currently staying. Welcome to day 3 of our Canada and America road trip. Today is our last day in Vancouver, so we're going back downtown to a place called Stanley Park, which we saw yesterday from North Vancouver, and it's a really massive park with over 500,000 trees planted, so it should be really pretty.
We are now on board the SkyTrain, which is the oldest and one of the longest automated driverless train systems in the world. So we are staying in Richmond, which is the final stop on one end of the line, and we're travelling to downtown Vancouver, which is the final stop on the other end of the line, so we basically get a really good view of the whole of Vancouver.
So this is the entrance to Stanley Park, and before we go in I think we're going to grab some food, and there's a protest march going on at the moment, so it's quite packed. So we are currently in Capilano, which is where Vancouver Suspension Bridge is located. It was built in 1889, and behind me, I'm not sure how well you can see it, but there's the canyon which we are about to cross.
We are now walking over Capilano Suspension Bridge. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see, like this might just be a video of the side of the bridge, but it's kind of scary because it's really wobbly and you can literally feel everyone's movements. But the view of the canyon is really nice, so I'm sure I'm going to appreciate it afterwards.
We are currently on a treetop adventure trail, which is basically a collection of bridges, you can see behind me, that create a path through the treetops. So this is the suspension bridge that we crossed earlier, and below us is the gorge that it crosses. Just to give you an idea of how strong the bridge actually is, it's made of steel cables, and once during a storm a tree fell on top of the bridge and there was no damage to the bridge whatsoever. It's said that it can take the weight of 2 Boeing 747 airplanes, which are jumbo jets, so it's amazing to think that something built in
1889
is able to carry that much weight. Hi friends, welcome to day 4 of our Canada and America road trip. We are currently leaving Vancouver, so we are in the car with my dad driving, and we are heading to the ferry which will now take us to Port Alberni.
In front of me you can see downtown Vancouver. We are now on the ferry heading to a place called Nanaimo, and from there we'll be driving to Port Alberni. It's about a 2-hour ferry journey, but I've been told that sometimes you can see orcas breaching from this boat, so hopefully we might get to see one today.
So So we have now arrived in Port Alberni and checked into our hotel, and then we took a nice drive down some gravelly roads to reach Stamp River, which we walked alongside. This is Stamp River waterfall, and during salmon months you can see salmon actually jumping out of the water here. Apparently 40 million salmon travel upstream up the river each year. Hi friends, welcome to day 5 of our Canada and America road trip. We are currently heading away from Port Alberni to a place called Ucluelet, which is on the west coast of Canada. And while driving we came across this river, so decided to take a quick break. So we are now in Ucluelet at the start of the Wild Pacific Trail. It's about an hour walk and it will take us to the Amphitrite Lighthouse, where we'll be able to watch the sunset. So this place is called the Graveyard of the Pacific because in 1905 a British ship crashed against these rocks and the entire crew perished. So we have made it to the lighthouse, which you can now see behind me, but we realised it's probably a bit too early to watch the sunset because it's about 5:30 now and the sunset is supposed to be at 9:30, so we're going to keep on moving and hopefully find a better spot to watch the sunset. So there is supposed to be a lot of nature along this trail. When we first came into the trail we saw a sign telling us what kind of things we might encounter, which include wolves, which are supposed to be very active in this area, and it explained what you should do if you were to encounter some of these animals. So wolves, for example, you're supposed to act big and make lots of noise and throw sticks and stones at it, and hopefully it should retreat. There are also black bears in this area, so for them you're supposed to move away slowly and speak to it in a calm manner. You shouldn't make eye contact with it, and you shouldn't drop anything, so like food for example, because otherwise it thinks it's being rewarded for its aggressive behaviour. You can also see cougars sometimes, and as the trail runs along the coast you can see whales. So I understand that there are grey whales and humpbacks are common in this area, and sometimes you might be able to spot a killer whale. There are also porpoise, and earlier today we were down by the harbour and we saw a seal or a sea lion. I'm not sure how to differentiate between the two, but both appear in this area. And we also saw an otter.